I remember seeing you react to like some of these crazy kids that are like climbing on skyscrapers, and, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember you having like a really pretty like visceral reaction to that. Like, no, like don't do that. I don't like it. I don't approve. And I just thought to myself, like, I disagree. I disagree because I think that that in most cases with these kids, they just know their abilities.
Oh, they definitely do. But also they fall and they die. And that's a crazy way to die.
Okay.
Falling off a skyscraper,
Yeah.
landing on a baby carriage.
I understood. But I remember like there's like one of these kids because I had a really,
Don't do it, Jamie, you son of a bitch. Jesus Christ. This guy's barefoot climbing a fucking building.
right.
Woo! That is so wild that people do that shit.
You know like
Don't do it, Jamie. Don't make me want. My hands are sweating. Feel my hand. Feel my hand. How sweaty is that?
And I'll take this off of you because when I like linked up with some of these kids that do all this fucking crazy parkour shit, like from building to building, and I reposted on my Instagram some kid doing like some like fuck. It was like he jumped off one building and then landed on the next building like by his fingers, and people in the comments were like, just like, oh, this fucking stupid kid's fucking gonna die. Like, and I was kind of incensed. And I went on my story and I was like, why is it that, these kids are catching such fucking heat? But then this other fucking guy wins an Oscar with the fucking free solo. Like, what's the difference?
Well, that's crazy too. Alex has been on the podcast a few times.
Sure.
I admire his ability to do that. But also in talking to Gabor Mate, he was explaining that most likely what's going on is those people don't feel normal life the same way that we do. And the only way for them to feel really connected and alive is to put themselves in grave danger.
It's just interesting to me that, like, and they're basically all doing the same thing.
Sort of, but rock climbing is undoubtedly a learned skill, and they have abilities that they have developed through. There's technical rock climbing, like they know what the fuck they're doing. It's still, people die from it every year.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see The Alpinist? Did you see that documentary?
Is that the one where the guy, like, you don't even see it coming, and then you find out that he died at the end?
Well, I saw it coming because I knew he was dead. But
I didn't know. I didn't know. And apologies to people who I just spoiled that for.
It's not spoiling. It's pretty obvious when you watch it that he's going to die.
I mean, dude, it was heavy.
He was using ice picks and climbing on icicles. Yeah, it is.
Oh my God, that was such a great movie.
Yeah, I mean, he decided that regular rock climbing wasn't scary enough. And Alex talked about him admirably. Alex was like, this guy was so good. He was such a good climber that to him, he needed really dangerous things to get him jazzed up. So he would climb in like Argentina, these mountains covered in ice in the winter. And it's like, and he got caught in a landslide or in a avalanche.
Yep. And it wasn't like he screwed up.
They never even recovered his body.
Right.
He's part of the fucking glacier now.
Right, dude. But when you climb, like for anybody who climbs Mount Everest, don't you just like climb past like skeletal remains? Like
yeah, they leave the bodies. Yeah, you climb past them, and they're white because like they're basically just completely frozen solid, and it's just like a white piece of meat. And then the clothing is like ripped apart, so you can see the flesh underneath it. It's hard as a rock. It's like,
so it's frozen all year round. It never thaws.
Never thaws.
Wow.
Yeah, you're just up there frozen like a rock forever.
Yeah.
And they leave the bodies there because it's too dangerous to bring them back. Like there's a lot of people that are like, there's a dead guy that you pass by. I mean, these people that are up there doing it, like look at that guy.
Whoa.
Yeah, died.
There's 200 bodies up there.
Jesus.
At least. They don't know the official number.
Oh.
Over 300 people have died.
Motherfucker. How many people die climbing Everest every year?
Over 300 total have died. So I don't know about every year. 311 is just said is the.
They die every year, though.
You know what's fascinating to me is how like deliberate people are to avoid contemplating their own mortality.
This is a weird one. The Everest one's a weird one because it's like, I mean, I admire people that want to take challenges on and do things that are very difficult because I'm just guessing that the sense of accomplishment after you do it is probably pretty extraordinary. But on the other hand, like, fuck, man, you're passing by people who didn't make it.
Right.
You know, 2 climbers found a woman alone and dying, yelling, "Please don't leave me," but were forced to continue and let her die as they had no means to help her, and staying would risk their own lives. They felt so guilty, they spent years saving up enough money to finally return and give her a proper burial. Oh, my God.
So what made them able to hang out with her the second time?
Oh, my God. I know, right? Oh, hey, there's that lady that we didn't save. Fuck.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, I read this story about this woman who climbed Mount Everest because she wanted to prove that being a vegan didn't make you weak, and she died.
It's
there's
nuts.
another one. Look at that body. Fuck that. Frozen, pale, white. Scroll back. The body was named Green Boots, perhaps the most well-known body on Everest. His real name was Swang Pajor. He died during the 1996 Mount Everest disaster. While descending from the summit, he was trapped in a blizzard and died due to exposure.
Is there another mountain that people die like crazy?
They die on K2. Yeah, K2 kills a lot of people. And then there's other mountains where like, that's one of the things they covered in The Alpinist, where like a quarter of the people who try to summit it die.
Man.
Yeah, these fucking people, man. They look at this. 29% fatality rate. More than a quarter. The main peak of Annapurna Massif is the most dangerous of the world's mountains, with a 29% fatality rate of everyone who tries to climb it. Since 1900, an estimated 244 expeditions have resulted in 72 deaths. Fuck. And the next most dangerous, Kangchenjunga,
With a slightly higher death rate.
29.1% death rate. Yes. Yeah, 29%. K2, almost as dangerous. Yeah. Everest, by contrast, is a 4% fatality rate. So Everest is for pussies.
There's way more
getting
people
out of this.
climbing it.